is self-esteem? This video, we're going to talk about what is self-esteem, where is your self-esteem, and how to improve it. Now, I am going to pass you over to Lydia on this one because I am really one of those lucky people that I've never really had an issue with my self-esteem. Now, and I know that's kind of quite a courageous thing to say and maybe come across arrogant, and I don't mean that, but I don't want to talk about a subject I don't necessarily understand.
Mate. And not arrogance, confidence. Slight difference between words there.
Yes,
Difference
possibly.
confidence.
But the one thing I will say is I have had other people at times affect my self-esteem and made me feel worthless. However, I've always been able to manage to kind of push it back and like, do you know what, that's your problem, that's not mine. You're projecting on me, or you're reflecting on me, your issues and your insecurities. So I've been able to kind of dust my shoulder off and walk away. So what is self-esteem, Lydia?
So it's basically the overall opinion of yourself and your abilities.
Oh, okay.
It's how you think about yourself. But again, it's watching how other people can affect that. But you need to have that good sense of self, learn about yourself and do your developmental work, really.
And then in an earlier video, you'll actually see we talked about personal values, and I think that links through. I'll put the link in the bottom for that one. But I think knowing what your personal values, and I think you said the word earlier about your boundaries, your personal boundaries as well, links into self-esteem, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, there's so much you can learn from your self-esteem, but it's going within yourself and believing what you can do. And not letting others drag you down. So yeah.
Is it always with self-esteem? Is it always about others? Because that to me personally feels like I'm putting my self-esteem in the hands of other people.
Yeah, I think it depends, which we'll obviously touch on in another chat. But I think it does go back to mental health as well. It can go back to anxiety and depression, and what's going on in your life, really. So I think it's a bit of a mixed bag when it comes to self-esteem.
It's a big subject, isn't it? Big subject. So how do we know where our self-esteem is? How do we judge it?
Figure it out. I suppose if you looked at a week, and you could look at how you talk to yourself and how you're feeling about yourself, I think that might give you some sort of reflection. And then over a week, so if you're saying bad things and you're subconscious about yourself, like, oh, I'm rubbish, I'm not very good.
Sorry.
It's probably to do with that.
So I guess one of the really key things would perhaps to do is journal and almost and this sounds a bit weird thing to say, but I know that this is very popular, almost score yourself for like your week, like how have I spoken to myself, score out of 10, how have I reacted in certain situations that you find difficult, score out of 10, and actually kind of judging yourself, but in a non-judgmental way, but just try and get a gauge of where your self-esteem is. And I guess if you did something like that where you actually did like a graph and like these are my kind of trigger points that kind of make me think bad about myself, and then you think over the week how you've worked on them, and then over the course of a few months you can start seeing actually your areas where you're improving, where you're not improving, and perhaps think about who you're with as well, and those people that are affecting your self-esteem.
Make a difference. I mean, when you come to improving it, I mean, that is one of the things, is to build positive relationships and avoid negative ones. And I know from my own personal past that you know, being with really positive people like yourself, it really helps lift your self-esteem.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we have really good conversations and we're sort of connected at that level. Also, obviously, challenging your negative thoughts, because obviously your negative mindset can
destroy
the human mind is a bit of a head mess, really.
Yeah, and it's a very powerful tool, and if you're tipped on that balance of you're mostly negative, it can quickly snowball into further and further negative thoughts and further, and it affects your whole life. Once you start tipping the balance the other way, magical things happen when you start getting the other way, isn't it?
That's it. And definitely I'd say give yourself a break. That's another thing, because we're all striving to be perfect. It doesn't exist, by the way. Progress is the word. And some days you'll have good days, some days will be not so good. That's all right, that's life. It doesn't make you a bad person because of that. So
no, absolutely.
that's it.
And I was Sorry, go on.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you go for it, mate.
No, I was going to say, going back to talking about positive and negative people. It's one of the hardest things I think for us to do is sometimes recognise those people that are negative in our lives, and also those people that don't raise us. And I've talked about this in my videos, and I think we've talked about it before. It's kind of like surround yourself with people that elevate you. And I saw this lovely quote the other day, and it said, "Surround yourself with people that eyes light up when you enter the room." And I thought. That's a really, really good way of saying surround yourself with people. When you get there, they go, "Hey, you're here," and then you're always smiling and you're laughing and you have these great conversations, rather than walk into a room and it's just, "Oh, did you hear what she said? She did," and because it's upgrading those conversations, upgrading those relationships to get the best out of a situation. You should always. I always think you should, if you're doing something that you want to do, and I know it's not always possible, because there are always mood hoovers and stuff at work and stuff like that, but I think especially in a social situation, it's the place to start. Is you want to feel like you're walking on air going into a situation, and when you leave, you want to feel the same. Totally. And if you walk out of a social situation and you feel drained and you feel negative and your self-esteem's through the floor, don't go there again. And it's learning to say, actually, this is the wrong situation.
Definitely.
So when you talk about how to improve it, it's very much about how you think. You've got to start thinking more of yourself.
Yes. Believe in yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, as a trainer, personal trainer as well, I mean, improving your physical health as well.
Yes, 100%.
Makes a difference. Yeah, because that obviously helps with the mind.
Yeah.
And also being assertive and learning to say no.
Yeah, that's a really key thing as well. Say no.
So there's quite a lot to it, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of dimensions. There's a lot of dimension. I think with anything, the first thing to do is just start. If you have low self-esteem, is just work on one small thing. Yeah. Don't go mad, and just work on one small thing, and it'll be different for everyone. It might be the case if you have low self-esteem, focusing on your physical, and it might be not going to the gym and pumping iron. It might be just go for a walk for 10 minutes every day, and just getting that bit of fresh air and that bit of energy and that bit of clarity from clearing your mind will work. For other people, it'll be journaling. For others, it'll be it might be talking to a good friend. It could be anything, but it's taking that first step, isn't it?
Reflecting as well, because obviously when you surround yourself with people like ourselves, we talk really well to each other, so we can bounce off each other what our values are. So maybe it's a conversation you can have with a friend. Go away and talk to someone you're really close with, and maybe they can sort of show you some of your best attributes as you can them.
Yeah, definitely.
And that helps self-esteem. So you're actually raising each other's self-esteem.
Yeah. And I think it's important. It is again, it comes back to those connections, those relationships, and who you surround yourself with. Is when you want to when you want to improve, you need to surround yourself with people that are also on that kind of journey. Yeah. Because if you surround yourself with people that aren't, you're going to be very quickly brought back down. And that's not a bad reflection on those people. It's just that they're in a different place to you right now. Yeah. It's you've got to find those people that are also on that. They want to change, they want to make a positive change, and they're ready to move forwards. It's actually finding that right person, and it might be someone you'd never even thought of, or it could be the person literally sat next to you that's there all the time. But having the right conversations with the right people, but only you will know who that person is, of course. What is self-esteem?
Yeah.
All done?
Yeah.
Bye.